here's my XRP price prediction. That was by far the most commented thing over the last couple of days. So if you guys want to hear exactly what I think about the price, make sure you press that like button and let's dive right in. First of all, I will tell you that whatever happened with the SEC just now, it opened up an entire new realm for XRP to explore. US institutional investment, even though it's not going to be directly with Ripple, the floodgates have now opened up. And actually, I want you guys to listen very carefully to this video right here, because there's a couple key points that if you understand them properly, you know what's about to happen. So please, guys, please listen carefully to the CEO of the biggest asset managers in the world, BlackRock.
More and more global investors are asking us about the role of crypto. And as I said, I do believe a lot of crypto is going to be, it's an international asset. It has a differentiating value versus other asset classes, but more importantly, because it's so international, it's going to transcend any one currency and currency valuation. If you just look at the value of our dollar, how it depreciated the last two months and how much it appreciated over the last 5 years, I mean, an international crypto product can really transcend that. And that's why we believe there's great opportunities, and that's why we're seeing more and more interest. And that interest is broad-based worldwide.
Now, I hope you guys can read through the lines that he basically describes crypto is about to take over. And he literally states that because of how international it is, it will transcend the borders, which I like to think about XRP in that department because that's their goal. But most importantly, on the field of the fact that the valuation will get bigger than all the currently existing currencies. And they manage $10 trillion. And a lot of the guys they're working with here are increasingly interested in crypto. And which, in the United States, right, is the only crypto that's got properly, or that is properly regulated, XRP. Anyway, in the next bull run, and actually over the next couple of months, I think this is going to happen. Explain. I think a lot of what we're seeing right now are purely distractions. And what I mean with that is Bitcoin follows a similar pattern every single time as it gets to the halving. For that reason, I think the bottom for Bitcoin is in, and the general trajectory is upwards, like we've already predicted for a good while. And even though, again, we can see some slight downsides, and right now, the last entire month has been extremely boring, you can see where it got rejected at, and you can see how crucial that has been throughout time here. And at the moment that this level breaks, just as historically has happened, we can see either another spike before, a juicy little dip right before the halving, or like the cycle even prior, from the big dip that we saw a couple of months ago, have ourselves the breakout, like for example at this level right here, and just as we get into the halving, just continue to rise. As like I said, for Bitcoin, the halving is only a couple months away. Yes, it's April of next year, but guys, time flies. And so even though I do not think a new all-time high will be coming this year, I'm almost certain that it will happen in 2024, or maybe the beginning of 2025, somewhere middle of 2025, because the halving cycles usually always work in that way, where going into the next cycle, you reach an all-time high before numbing down, reaching a massive dip, getting another push, but not a new all-time high, before dipping again, before going into the halving going up, and at the start after the halving going up even further. It's a similar pattern every 4 years. And right now, again, we're not sure if we're going to see another pump towards, for example, like 45,000 before falling down slightly before the halving, potentially looking like this. What we are expecting is that going into the halving, it's going to be up, and it's going to basically look like this. So extrapolating that, I think it's going to happen in a similar fashion. Housekeeping called, scared the crap out of me. But basically right now, we have seen a massive breakout for XRP, something that has not happened in the last 4 years versus Bitcoin. As you can see, XRP broke above the 200 weekly moving average the first time since June of 2019. And I'm recording this a couple hours before you see it probably. But right now, XRP is also doing pretty nice over the last couple of hours. Not so sure what's happening. Just peaked at 76 cents. Comment down below right now what the XRP price is. Just curious, the moment I post this video, what is the XRP price looking like right now? And matter of fact, if you are a trader or you'd like to get into trading, I'm actually giving away $500 in XRP to the first 50 people that sign up to BitGet with the link down below and get their first trade going. Like you see, sign up as start, first trade, any amount. Over on BitGet, the first 50 users will get $10 worth of XRP. It's given to you probably in a couple of days from now. as the campaign still has, a day or two to go. But yeah, it's absolutely completely for free. So make sure you go ahead and check that out with the link down below. But what I was basically trying to say was that right now, as it currently stands, hey, XRP actually just overtook BNB again in terms of market cap. That's pretty nice. But as it currently stands, XRP's dominance percentage is actually spiking. You can see it went from about 2% throughout this entire journey to roughly 3% already just now. So we've got a 50% increase over this week. But that obviously I think is going to be overtaken a lot of what it's lost throughout the last couple of years. If you look back, this point right here, June of 2019, is when XRP was for the last time at a level above the 200 weekly moving average versus Bitcoin. So in terms of dominance, and you can see XRP as of this point then was even double the dominance that it has right now. I think we should at least get back that, or I should say back to those levels pretty quickly, which would already be doubling of the XRP price from these levels, or a 4x from the prices that we saw last week. But to add to that, the reason I've made so many videos talking about why XRP should spike the moment that we see a settlement or see a conclusion is mostly because of the fact that we didn't get an all-time high way back. When Bitcoin reached an all-time high in 2017, November, it got to 19,000. Ethereum got to around 1,400, let's call it, 1,400. And Bitcoin in the bull run afterwards went to 69,000, so about a 3.5x. Ethereum went to whatever, 4,500, so let's call it a 4x. XRP only went to like $2 or something, which is 0.75x. You might say, oh, but that's because of the lawsuit. Well, still, I personally think that within this cycle, as we were describing earlier, Bitcoin is also going to be seeing significant new highs. But for XRP to get back to these levels, that Bitcoin and Ethereum saw or whatnot, that would mean a 4x from all-time high. So that would mean, let's call it $3 to about $12 per XRP in the last bull run to basically stick with some of these dominance percentages and get to the price where it should have been at, so let's call it $10 to $12. But since, again, this new cycle is going to also allow for many, many Bitcoin gains to come. And this time around, XRP is way ahead of all the competition, as is the only properly regulated crypto in the United States right now. It has a lot of potential to overtake a lot of the dominance from all these other cryptos, even, strangely enough, from Bitcoin and Ethereum, because those are not properly regulated just quite yet. So from that perspective, if we were to state that Bitcoin would double the all-time high to $140,000, well, that most likely means that XRP could do similar, so let's call it $25, but because of it taking a lot of dominance over from these other cryptos, because, well, it's the first properly regulated crypto, what can you do? Except for gain, right? I think proportionally, it could be even higher at the next bull run. So from that perspective, it would not be too crazy to see XRP climb up to the second in ranking, which would, again, from this perspective already, go from 40 billion to 230 billion, where it should be as a baseline, right? Which, let's just call that about a 5x, just to get to Ethereum's level. But then proportionally, add so much more gains because of all the lost revenue from time, I'd say lost price appreciation from time, all the partnerships and utility that's been added in this due course that's not been priced in, and the fact that it's the first properly regulated crypto, all these things add up. And so it wouldn't be too crazy, in my own opinion, not financial advice, to see even a $30 XRP within a year or two. That's the conservative estimate, because it just depends on how much of the dominance it's going to take over from all these other cryptos and how much people value the decision against the SEC. Because as we saw with the price just now, people are still a little bit confused and there's a lot of manipulation. But if we trust Yoshitaka Kitao, the CEO of SBI, we trust the guys at JP Morgan, we trust all those. Yeah, right now, XRP should have probably been about $10, something like that, and probably will get to that level rather soon. The rest will most likely just come as Bitcoin also gets into the pattern again and starts gaining hard. And I'd say my low estimate then for the next couple of years is $20 on the low side, because right now I think $10 is where it should have been at. And then I'm going to say $40 on the pretty high side, which is what I'm basically targeting, right? I've seen some people state, no, it's going to really overtake Bitcoin. It's going to become the number one. Even though eventually, in theory, any coin could become the number one, there's a good chance that even a crypto that's not been made yet, all right, some technology that's not even been thought of yet, is eventually going to overtake everything and beat all the competition, probably. I'm not so sure the bigger powers at play are going to allow for XRP to reach that number one position. And we don't know what the lawsuits and what the pressure from the SEC, or on the opposite side, in a good way, from Congress is going to look like in terms of regulations, right? A lot can change in a year or two, and that could also determine where XRP ranks relatively, because it could be so that Ethereum gets sued soon. On the opposite side, it could also be so that Bitcoin, after the Bitcoin spot ETF, gets approval across the board to be a properly regulated crypto too, or that all of a sudden, right, we get a pro-Bitcoin representative in somewhere. And I wanted to say, potentially the president, but that's going to be too long. I think before this guy gets in, even if we're to be a pro-crypto guy, it'd be too late to have the biggest of effects. But things like that could also have a big change, right? Maybe we get an entire shift at the SEC. Maybe there's going to be some crypto framework built in the meantime. Because the way it's looking right now, they're putting a lot of pressure on the SEC to take their hands off, even from the ex-SEC chairman Jay Clayton, and to just get some rules passed. We must pass a digital assets framework that provides meaningful regulatory clarity, fosters innovation, and protects American investors. They're pushing it hard, and that could also change a lot about the crypto landscape. And another thing I'd like to add is, please understand that very often these things can sound logical, these reasonings for why the price is going to go somewhere, but at the end of the day, nobody really knows. Even if they tell you they do, or they predicted something, most likely they didn't fully know. Right now as well, the amount of people I've spoken to that said the ETF is going to change the game, well, it's double-sided, first of all, because an ETF is going against the core principles of Bitcoin. On the opposite side, it's massive, right? The fact they can get it done. Bitcoin is so in such a position where the freaking institutions want it so bad. And it's like a hedge against the freaking US system just crumbling to dust. But I think that majority of people would have, if you told them a couple years ago, hey, BlackRock is going to say Bitcoin is huge, cryptos are huge, and they actually want to get in because their clients all want to get this crypto diversification, the prices would have spiked out of control. Yet now, when all these institutions actually are coming in hot, the prices are not even moving at all. Like the last week has been so boring. The last month has been so boring. Even though from an ETF perspective, it's been huge news. I still feel there's so much manipulation on that field, probably from these institutions themselves, that we should be wary in our predictions from that perspective, because the more the institutions come in, the more unpredictable it's going to get, as it goes from human emotion to these institutions just making money on your ass, so they play into the human emotion to amplify it all so you lose more money. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. What I'll say again is I'm extremely excited about XRP, and that's why I keep buying more and more and more. What I recommend you guys to do, though, is to press that notification bell on for in case something crazy drops. What if some crazy news gets put out? What if Gary Gensler gets dragged in front of the courts tomorrow, or some crazy new announcement gets made? You want to be notified. That's what I'm telling you right now. And I'm not sure, again, how prices are looking, but keep an eye on XRP. It's moving in an interesting fashion, and take a look at XLM too. Keep those things in your closed visors, as it's a really interesting bonanza just how these things are moving. So yeah, keep it close on your radar. Let me know down below what the price is at right now as you are watching this video. I hope the moment that I release this video, it's all of a sudden going to be at $1 or something, Man can only hope, right? But yeah, my prediction, I think you guys know by now, extremely bullish on it, and I'm not going to let anybody change my mind. I don't care what anybody else says, so yeah.